Down.
They're
And you know
ready.
me. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're live. Let me just double check, make sure we actually are. Oh, look at that. We are live. So, everybody, I'm Dustin Coiner. Good evening, everybody. I'm on with Mighty Mouse, the Iron Man from Daytona last weekend. Actually, I don't know, man. Hayden Gillum kind of has that too, right? Jesus.
Man, that guy's a beast. That guy can ride
Yeah.
anything.
So Stefano Mesa, man, what the hell's up?
Everything's good. I mean, it's been busy. It's been a busy year already, starting, but it's already busy. We
Yeah.
just had a good weekend at Daytona, so definitely in a good note. And we're over here doing some private coaching with one of my customers, so enjoying it, buddy. Living the life.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get around, right? I mean, you haven't stopped since before Daytona. Like, what have you been doing?
Man, prepping stuff, getting the year ready, trying to find what I'm gonna do this year, putting it all together. Then Daytona came, then private coaching. This Sunday I fly out to Arizona, so
Where what do you do
definitely
it?
busy.
What where are you going to?
Champ
You?
school,
Oh yeah, at
yep,
Indy or what?
Indy, yes sir.
Nice.
We have a racer only school, so I'll be there Monday, Tuesday, so it should be fun.
Roll up those fancy sleeves with the check. Does the airport make you check in your cape?
Nah, not at all. I ride my little moto bag around.
Oh, okay.
They can catch me.
Okay, okay. That's cool. All right, so you know what, man? This is kind of like a Daytona chat. You know, you and I talked a while back about like doing a post race thing like for this year, and this is the first one. So it was a little unique for you because this year you didn't race, you didn't have the 600 or anything at Daytona, and I think the original plan was to do that electric bike thing. When did you find out you were going to ride the MP13 bike?
So yeah, we plan doing the Super Hooligan season since last year with Tyler Cycles. So
Yeah.
that whole situation, I was gonna be there for to ride the electric bike, right? Which it was a good weekend on that bike. We did a lot of progress on the program, so we were very happy with the program. And I want to say, I think moving was Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So Wednesday night, Melissa and Josh came by my camper late at night. It was maybe like 10 o'clock. They brought me to the side and they were like, "Hey, this situation's happening. Do you think maybe if we need you, you can ride the bike?" I was like, "Well, I have to double check if I'm allowed first, right?"
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm up for anything. If I can make some cash, I'll ride it. So I asked for permission just in case that was the situation, right? Kayla had to get checked out in the morning by the doctor to see if she would get approved. That's what I was told. So I guess she got checked out in the morning, and literally I was hanging out in my Energica pit with the Tyler guys, and Melissa comes running 30 minutes before the practice, before first practice. We were the first ones on track, and she comes, "Oh my God, I need you to go to race control and get your gear. We're going out. We're going out." So it was pretty hectic. I ran to race control, got it all situated, got my leathers on, and literally moved the foot pegs and the handlebars as I was going out to practice.
No kidding. That's crazy.
So, so
So,
it was definitely a cool experience. First time on a twin, riding with all the kids. It's definitely a fun class. Fast little machines. It was a very entertaining bike to ride. So it was definitely positive.
wow. That's really something, man. Well, you know what? I kind of assumed it was something like that, but you're telling it like it is in real time, and holy shit, it really was like that. You found out like at Daytona that you were going to ride that thing.
Yeah, literally. I found out the night before, but I found out I was actually riding the bike 30 minutes before the practice.
Yeah, that's kind of like a fairy tale kind of shit right there, dude.
I honestly very fortunate I got asked to ride the bike. There was a lot of guys that could ride the bike. And
Yeah,
I felt pretty blessed for Melissa and Josh to come and offer me the ride.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of problem on my end here, and it's telling me to refresh my browser, and I'm gonna do that, I guess. Interrupt the feed just a second. So stand by just a second. Yeah, really weird. It's still saying it's not allowing me to record for some reason. I don't know why, but
And my side, I say, is recording.
yeah, it says it's recording on my side now too. But man, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Weird little moment. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Um,
Happens. Technology.
exactly, exactly. So, um, well, let's talk a little bit about it. You're riding that electric thing. Like how you're the. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna give credit where credit's due on this one. But Chuck Axlin and I were talking earlier today about you. Right? Like that's so weird. Like to get a phone call from that dude, I was like, wow, okay. Um, and Chuck was saying something like you've got a unique situation there because you're a guy that's racing an e-bike against gassers. You're probably the only guy doing that, right? Or am I crazy?
I mean, we think we are. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world, but definitely at Daytona we were.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's pretty neat, dude. So tell me a little about it, a little bit about it, because you're like what top five, top seven kind of guy in that class, right? So what's it like racing the e-bike in the Hooligans series?
So it's definitely been a cool program. We started last year at Laguna, pretty much with a street based model,
Okay,
which we had a lot of not a lot of issues, but we couldn't really put a good lap time on the bike, right? Consistent lap time. So the team went ahead and pretty much figured out some situations that we could make the bike better and perform better. So going into Daytona was pretty much close eyes. We didn't have no data. We couldn't test. We couldn't do anything. So and Daytona is just a whole different breed. So Daytona was just pretty much a whole weekend of testing for us. It was gathering data. We only had one bike to ride, so it was pretty much gathering data and just seeing what we could do to make the bike perform good. And at the end of the day, we had a good package to ride with. They Energica brought over some people from Italy
hmm,
to try and make the bike work right.
yeah,
And the bike definitely performed good. We were happy with the results. We were able to finish the races with good results, right? And the lap times are still not there, but little by little, the more laps you get on the bike, I think the faster you can get going.
yeah. I mean, it looked like you were in the 59s on that thing, whereas the leaders were a little bit quicker than that. Um, is it because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's an e-bike or whatever, and don't take this thing I'm talking shit or whatever. It's not like it's a bagger or something, right? Um, is it is that bike the heaviest bike on the grid? I mean, is it the weight that's the problem, or is
I
it
I couldn't answer that question. I know our bike weighs around 520 pounds. Uh, and we could go a little bit faster, but um, at Daytona we had to do a little bit of battery management.
okay?
So sometimes I couldn't really give the bike the juice that the bike wanted, But the
Right.
bike was top speed. The bike was definitely fast. I think the fastest we went on the bike was 163 miles an hour. So that's definitely up to par with the Super Hooligans bike.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's pretty hard. I mean, this Indian boys are putting a pretty big sum of money into those things. Like
Yeah.
you look at those, even at the Super Hooligans, you look at those things and they're pretty neat little machines.
Yeah.
So
They look totally different than the one that you can buy in the showroom,
yeah, right. So
right?
it's definitely all about development. I mean, just getting seat time on the bikes and getting those things rolling faster and faster, and you can tell they've definitely done the work, right? Because the whole class went, I think, like 4 seconds faster than last year.
Hmm.
So that's definitely a big step from one year to another that the class goes 4 seconds faster.
I think
So
something similar happened in the baggers too, right? Those things were ripping
I
this year.
I think they did like 50. They could have been competing in the
Yeah,
200
yeah,
if they
dude. I
if
was
they
kind
could
of
keep a motor.
I was kind of telling that to Kyle. I was like, bro, you would have been like top 7 in the
Gosh,
200
dude,
if
that's
you
that's
bike
pretty
would go.
impressive on those big things.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
So
So
it's definitely been a cool experience, and how you say it's pretty unique because it's the future. So I mean, it's cool to be kind of part of it.
yeah, so in my notes, I was like, is it because of the weight or the motor, or is it limiting the motor to conserve battery? And it sounds like it's limiting the motor to conserve battery. Yeah.
There's a little bit of everything, right? Daytona's Daytona, right? And we
Yeah.
were trying to finish the race. We did a very solid work. So hopefully, once we come to these other tracks, we can do a little bit more hurting.
Hurting people's feelings. Is that what you mean?
Hopefully.
I love that, dude. I love your attitude with that stuff. So let's talk about those races. I mean, there is a guy that was saying that what happened on the last lap. It looked like you ran out of juice.
So yeah, the first race, the races were set for 6 laps, and the first race everything went good. And then the second race, there was a little red flag incident, and obviously we couldn't really count on that red flag. So
Mm.
after the red flag, the team pretty much told me, "Listen, go out there as long as it's not dangerous, right? Like make sure, try to conserve a little bit." So that's what we did. We went out there and we knew we couldn't really keep up with the front, right? So we did what we could to stay with the second group, which was Nate, me, and I think some other two other guys on KTM's.
Okay.
So we were rolling around with a pretty good group, and man, I thought I had them. I thought I had both of them, but coming out of that last chicane, we ran a little bit out of juice. We finished the race, but it was close. We were cutting it a little bit close.
Wow. I mean, I got to walk past you a few times and see your dad. It's so cool seeing your dad there. He's such a big part of your program, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, my dad and just my family, all my family is a huge part of my program. They're the ones that got me into it. They're the ones that invested the money to get me where I'm at. So they're part of it.
yeah. So, did you have any battles with Andy DeBrino at all?
Nah, he's a little bit too fast. He was up in the front group a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. He was complaining that he had 30 pounds of weight on his bike or something.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. These
Yeah.
guys have like 300 cc's on top of him.
Right.
More than that. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, I think I think he was allowed at the end of the. I knew there was a whole situation going about his weight, and I think they allowed him to take his weight off for after this first race
Yeah.
for the warm up, and I want to say they let him race without the weights, and unfortunately he tucked the front,
Ah.
so he
Well,
couldn't
he
really.
wasn't used to all that weight being back, right?
I mean, it could have been. You never know. It could have been a big possibility.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, the dude, all he wants to do is race up front, and it seemed like he probably could have. He had pace.
Yeah, he
So
definitely had the pace. So I mean,
yeah,
they're still working on the class, and they're trying to accommodate all of us a little bit better, right? So
yeah. There's some
Roland's
hitters. There's some hitters in that class too, man.
definitely, and Roland's definitely putting a lot of work into it to make it better, and
Yeah,
I think it's kind of like an underground bagger class. It's like
dude, it kind of
there's some
is.
there's some fancy nice stuff, and there's like how you said some heavy hitters riding in there, right?
I mean, Fonger.
Fonger
I
fast
mean,
this weekend,
Fonger.
impressive,
I think
very
he
cool.
didn't. I don't think Fonger did a lot of laps this weekend,
I
but
don't think so either,
he had
but
he
he
had
was right up there.
yeah, he had some troubles. But man, like I bet he'll be right in the front in the
I
mix with you and the rest of the goons.
I agree. Hopefully, I'm in the mix. That's what we're working
Yeah,
on.
like we gotta like give it a little extra, you know, like one of those attachments that we put on the bottom of our phones. Just that little extra battery, you know.
Right, right. I wish, but we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. It'll be fun.
Let me ask you this, man. Like you ride a lot of different stuff, right? Like you it's pretty regular for you to run multiple bikes a weekend. But typically when you're riding multiple bikes a weekend, they all have the same shit, like throttle, brake, clutch, shifter. And I think this bike that electric bike Energica thing, it doesn't have a shifter or a clutch.
It
So
doesn't.
so how do you do that? Like, how do you get your minds wrapped around just using the brake and the throttle and not going through the gears?
I mean, it's definitely a little bit weird, but it's you get used to it. As you spin some laps and you get used to it.
Wow.
Uh, this weekend was pretty weird because I had back to back races both days, so I was running from the Super Hooligans to the Twins bike, and here I am on the Twins bike trying to go chase these kids around. So
You're like
I'm like,
chase these kids. Like I remember when you were that kid,
I know, right? But
right?
that's how it is. So it was cool. That class after the after the first qualifying, I go back to my trailer to my dad, and I'm like, "Damn, Dad, I think we gotta build us one of these things."
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean they're definitely very cool.
the Twins Cup bike.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean you're. I think we talked about this the last time. The stuff that you've ridden, and now you've ridden not only ridden one, but you've raced like a proper built Twins Cup bike. What do you think of that class?
I mean, it's definitely pretty cool. How I said, it's the up and coming talent. It's all the kids that come from the Junior Cup class, and I mean, Gus showed a lot of potential this past weekend. The kid was solid and very fast. So it's a great class. Melissa, how I said, I'm fortunate to ride a good bike, a very very well prepped R7. And it was definitely a very entertaining class. There's always going to be a battle, I can tell you that, right? There's always going to be some type of battle going on, and it's just like a mini superbike class. It's
Yeah, I was
cool.
just gonna say that. That's like the hot rod tuner class, right? Where
Pretty
they
much like build what you can and come show.
right. Yeah, I mean
So
Melissa was telling me what it cost to build one of those things, and I mean your bike looked like it had a lot of poop behind it, right?
I mean, definitely, I asked her, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy. It's definitely up there."
So in race one in that one, what happened there?
So race one, we lost the shifter linkage.
Hmm.
Uh, we had moved my foot pegs the day prior, before practice, and we left one of the little, I forgot what they're called, one of the little things that go on the shift linkage,
Okay.
and unfortunately it stripped. It might have been my fault a little bit too, so I put a little bit blame on me.
Well,
Might have been a little bit too
she,
rough
she
through the
didn't
shifts.
she didn't torque it to the power of your left
It
foot.
wasn't even her. It wasn't even her. you know. So yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. It was a little bit my fault. I might have stepped on the shift lever a little bit too hard as well. So uh I blame myself, but at the end it happens, right? It's racing, so anything can happen.
So it was just a little mechanical. It wasn't anything like you didn't wad the bike or anything like that.
Nah, thank God. Don't even mention that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nah, it was
show
just
up, ride a
a little.
borrowed bike, stack the thing. Yeah, no big
Nah,
deal.
that wouldn't have been good.
Oh man.
No, it was just a little mechanical. It happens, and she got it fixed up, and we showed a lot of potential the next day.
Yeah, it was, honestly, heading into Daytona, I didn't know that Kayla had been injured in testing. And, when I found out she was injured and we weren't going to get to see her showcase their talent on that Twins Cup bike, I was kind of bummed until I found out you were riding it. So I was like, oh, shit, my homie's riding it, dude. That's awesome. So, I made sure to, as soon as you got the win, I ran over. It was like hugging your dad and stuff. Like you were off in the podium already. Like
Nah, it was a cool experience. It was
yeah.
definitely very 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 cool to just jump on the bike and be able to go that fast.
How'd you know? Did you know that you were gonna win the thing on the last lap? Or I mean, I know you were setting that pass up for a minute, right?
I mean, To be honest, yeah, and that's kind of how Daytona works. You know,
Yeah.
you just gotta set your pass however you can. If you're in a battle, it's gonna come to the draft. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just kind of set myself up. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it could have been for anybody. I could have pulled the trigger too early. You know, but I did a little bit of test runs on him, and I set myself up just kind of perfect. You know, it worked on my favor. You know, but couldn't have worked on my favor. You never know.
Yeah. Okay, so you get the win. Like, did you show up to ride when you found out you were gonna ride the thing? Did you were like, yeah, I'm gonna totally win this thing, or like, what was your expectation leading up to the first time out on the thing?
You know, after they came to me, I told my buddy Steven Roth, he works for Champ School. I told him, yo, this Melissa just came and asked me if I could ride on the bike. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to get smoked by all the kids, you know? Because they're definitely going fast. The kids are going fast, you know? So definitely went into first practice just pretty much just to do my job, you know, try and get the hang of the bike. And after the first practice, we had a little issue with the bike. We didn't have rear brakes. They had to cut the lightweight disc in the rear,
Okay.
and I used the rear brake a lot to steer the bike. So I couldn't really get going, you know. So I came back after and I told Melissa, I was like, hey, if you can do this, I know we can find a lot of time, you know. So she did that, and then for qualifying one, we went out there and we went to P1. I want to say right off the back, you know. So
Really?
we were in P1 for pretty much till the last lap. Till little Blake got the pretty good run down the banking, and he got to the top.
So I've got a couple of fan questions. Bearded Jixer actually has a couple of questions. And you know what? Melissa is a friend of mine, so hence the shirt tonight, right? Um, and would you be interested in riding like a second MP13 bike this year in Twins Cup if that was available?
I mean, it'll definitely be cool, you know. I have to run it by. I have a little program, trying to put a little program together myself.
Okay.
So I'll have to run it by the main guy that's helping me, you know. But I think it'll definitely be a cool experience, you know. I think we showed some talent and some potential in the class. Melissa already asked me as well, so she was trying to figure out what she could do, you know.
Yeah.
She could pull some people together and some sponsors together to get some funds to put a second bike together, you know. So I'll definitely be cool, huh?
Yeah, I think
I
so,
mean,
man.
we have some points in the class, so might as well go for it, you know.
That's your motto, right? You're like, fuck, we could maybe win this thing.
You never know.
I mean, I'll just say it straight up. I mean, if you're a fan of this or watch this thing and you want to help Mighty Mouse over here ride the Melissa's Twins Cup bike, maybe contact Melissa and help her put a bike together for him. And
Definitely.
because the thing is, it's not just putting a bike together. Melissa could build a bike pretty easily, but so she needs to put together a bike. And then she's also got to put together a crew and
The
stuff to make
crew and the
sure,
program, yeah.
yeah, to make sure that you're taken care of and shifters don't break and shit like that, right? So,
Unfortunate, man.
um,
Unfortunate.
but yeah, like if somebody could help out, hit up MP13 Racing, and Melissa Paris is the team owner there, and I'm sure she'd be appreciative if somebody jumped in and helped out Stefano Mesa win everything
I
except
mean,
the first one.
that would be cool.
The first one's a gimme, right? But the rest of them,
That one don't count. We got one throwaway.
right? Yeah. So if somebody wants to do that, that'd be great. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about the R7. I've ridden the thing, and I'm just curious. The bike looks super fast, and like, what do you think after riding the thing? What do you think is that bike's like strengths and weaknesses? Like how is it on the brakes? Like it seems like it's got a lot of power, so there's not a concern there, right?
I mean, the bike was definitely pretty cool. I want to say the only thing I felt like the bike just feels light, right? I'm used to riding big bikes, and I'm a small guy, so it just
Yeah.
kind of felt light. Like I could do a lot with the bike. I could place it wherever I wanted.
Okay.
And actually, at the end of the weekend, Melissa and her mechanic came to me, and he was like, "All right, so how can we make the bike better?"
And
And I told him,
her mechanic's Evan, right?
"Yes,
Evan Steele.
yeah, very
Yeah,
good
that
guy.
guy's been around.
Yeah, super cool
ESP, right?
guy.
He's out of
Um, he's out
ESP,
of that close
Arizona.
too. Yep."
Yeah.
So they came up to me and they were like, "How can we?" I told them, I don't think. I mean, it's the bike's pretty solid. The bike goes fast. It does what you want it to do. So, uh, it's it's a fun class, man. I mean, I'll like to run it, right? The talent is there. I think the bikes are getting better by the year, or maybe even by the race, right? Because all these guys go back and work on these
Dude.
things to make them better.
They're like miniature super bikes, just like you said, huh?
Yeah,
Because
that's
they have
exactly what it
wheels and
is.
brakes and shit,
They have
right?
everything. They have pretty much
Forks.
everything. Yep,
Yeah. I mean, they're like little super bikes,
pretty much.
100
They,
horsepower super bikes.
yep. So it was a fun class. I had a good weekend running that class.
And how do you feel the R7 does against the 660 since you obviously beat one and many more?
So that's another topic they brought up. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to say, because it's Daytona. It's hard to gauge.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe the Aprilia has a little bit more mid range,
Really?
but what I'm talking about is very minimum.
Yeah, like splitting hairs kind of shit or
I mean, it's minimum. It's hard to see where the difference is because I could draft him and he could draft me, you know. And just in the infield, Gus would just do everything different. We were both rolling very fast, but we were just both doing everything completely different.
well, I mean, you could say the same thing about the super sport class, like the Triumphs and the Ducati were doing
You just ride them. You just have to ride them different. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my style, their style, or it's just the chassis, how the chassis work.
Well, you're the old guy now, right? So the new kids, they're
I mean, yeah, in this class, I'm the old guy.
right. Okay, so Bearded Jixer's other question is about the Energica. Like, what's it like to launch the thing?
It's definitely different. It's instant.
You said it's different.
This,
So you just pull the
past
trigger
week,
and it's good to go?
I almost nailed Jeremy McWilliams. I guess he was having some type of issue and his bike stalled or something. And I was planning on trying to get the whole shot on the outside of him, and I almost plowed in the back of him. So
Oh, wow.
that didn't work too good for me.
Does
And then in
it
the second,
does it like spin the tire off the start? I mean, is it?
no, that hasn't happened to me yet. I might.
You said
right?
yet.
Yeah, I'm so very. Listen, it's so instant. You gotta be.
Yeah.
There's no TC. There's no electronics to help it.
Oh,
So it's
really?
pretty much old school.
That's weird because the whole thing's electronic. Like, why couldn't
I
they
know,
add that in
there's
there?
there's pretty much no assists. So it's all to the old school. It's all in the wrist. So I'll tell you that the launches are definitely different. They could be a big advantage because you don't have to go through the gears and it's just there.
Yeah.
But definitely different.
So let's see. There's a few others. Jonathan Tiller says he's asking if you're gonna run all the rounds on your 600, the ZX6.
I'm working on a little project. How I mentioned, it's pretty advanced forward.
Oh.
So it's looking like I might be on a 600 doing the super sport season.
Okay.
So as this, I could say, project develops, we'll see what goes happening.
So there's a possibility that on a race weekend, you're gonna be on the e-bike, a Twins Cup bike, and a 600.
Possibly.
All you need is a super bike and a 400. Well, you're too old for the 400, huh? So
I don't think so. I'm 28. I'm still in age.
Oh, dude, you could ride every class, bro. Let's make it happen. I don't think anybody's ever done that.
That'll be a terrible weekend, man. That'll be a terrible, terrible.
What do you mean? You're fit.
No, sheesh, that's a lot of
He
laughs.
said, "Sheesh."
That's a lot of laughs.
Yeah, on the 400, you could just eat because
Yeah,
right?
Take a snack.
Yeah, take a snack. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then, okay, Lieutenant Dan has legs. That's this guy's username. I shit you not. Wow, bro. He says, this is the second time now I've seen a small man with a funny accent fill in for a Moto America rider with a leg injury and win.
I wonder who was the first one.
I don't know who that is, but that sounds funny. Oh, man. And then, Abraham. I'm guessing that's the Mexican champion dude from a few years ago, I think. Abram says, "Bravo, Stefano. Es todo campeón, full gas."
Gracias.
Yeah. And then he says, apparently your pit limiter was on.
My pit limiter? I had no pit limiter.
Yeah. And then he said something about Raw Dog International. I don't know what that means. Is that like an inside joke with you guys or what?
No clue.
Okay. And then is that electric bike the same one you rode at Laguna with us last year?
It's a little different. We did a little bit of improvements to the bike.
Okay.
The chassis is pretty much the same.
Okay. All right.
Chassis, wheel, suspension is the same.
Okay.
But there was some improvements made to the bike. We got a few little gadgets, so we got to make these gadgets work.
Okay. And then I don't know why people are saying Lieutenant Dan says Jake Lewis, Elias. I don't know. Anyway, so are you going to do any stock 1,000 races this year? Are you going to plan on that?
No stock 1,000 this year.
No stock 1,000. Well, there's only 5 rounds, right?
Yeah, I'm still building. I'm in the process of building 2 private bikes to go chase my Cowie contingency.
Okay.
So
Cowie's still paying pretty good money, right?
I mean, yeah, it's the only factory that hasn't really backed down, so that's why I stay with my Cowies,
Well, that answers a lot of people's questions. Why the green piles?
The Cowies.
Like what? I mean, honestly, when you're chasing Cowie money, like what do you stand to bring home with the contingency?
Undisclosed number.
Isn't it public though? Isn't Team Green?
They can go find out,
Oh, God damn it.
It depends on the weekend. It depends where
Right.
I'm at. It depends on the series, how many classes you can run.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I know that like in our club anyway, like I think it's some of the classes pay like $1,000 or a couple $1,000 sometimes.
Depends on the class.
And yeah, same thing. And Yamaha pays like it used to pay really big money, but now it's like $500. I think there's one class that paid $750.
I thought Yamaha wasn't even paying in the class.
That was last year.
Okay.
Year. I don't know about this year yet, but I believe so because I filled out the forms from Yamaha.
Better make some cash.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm old and fat. Like that's not happening for me.
You never know. You just gotta.
Yeah, I just have to pay everybody to sit out. Is that?
You gotta be there.
That's not happening, dude.
What can happen? They might all take each other out.
Like I'm perfectly fine being like a regular club racer guy. Like I'm not a fast guy, and that's okay. But hanging out with you guys and the Attack Yamaha program, that's pretty cool. Just to kind of get to be there. It's it was like a weird realization I had today, like getting that random phone call from Chuck Axland, right? Like I was like, whoa, dude. Like,
I would have been like, hey, what's
I'm like,
up,
why are you calling me, dude? What? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm kind of a character at times, I guess you could say. And I thought at first when I saw his number, I thought I was in trouble for something.
Hey, you got a fine to pay, pal. Come back.
Oh man. But yeah, like
he's a good guy. I like
super
him.
Good dude. I mean, the guy is he's kind of a legend too, right? Like he's been
For
around.
Sure. he's done a lot for the sport too. You know,
Yeah.
he's been around for a lot of years.
Yeah. So, what else did you do? Anything else in while you were in Daytona?
No, not really. I
I
think
I noticed that you were absent from the KYT Mafia dinner Thursday night, so I was kind of disappointed in that.
I wasn't included in that, and
What?
I think Butters wasn't even included in that either.
Butters was there.
Butters was there.
Yeah, dude.
I can Shame on you guys. I'll go back to Brandon and complain about that.
Yeah. Well, Butters was there, and Marias,
I saw Mariah.
and TJ, and
Yeah.
Brendan.
Brandon, yeah,
Yeah.
good dudes. I love all those dudes.
Yeah,
Very
it was
good dudes.
great, and then so I was like I was a little disappointed that I didn't see you there.
You should have invited me.
You were kind of
I'm
you were
guess
kind
I'm
of
not that special.
nobody at that table was actually racing though, right? Because by then, I think Marias came straight there from the hospital.
He was already hurt. He twisted
Yeah.
that ankle bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least it wasn't a broken leg,
I know. Yeah.
right? So you
Yeah.
so you pretty much camped out at the track all weekend. You didn't leave.
No, not really. We went out once for dinner with the team, and that's pretty much about it. I like staying at the track and hanging out. You know, it's cool being with the family and just chilling out. We cooked some food for the other days, so that's always the plan going to the track. You know.
Okay, so I'm being reminded by Lieutenant Dan that actually Tony Elias replaced Jake Lewis when he got hurt and then won at Coda. That's the
Oh, that's what he was talking
the small guy with the funny accent. Yeah.
That's
Totally true, actually. Yeah, I actually remember that now. Like you say that. So long ago, it seems like. Um,
Probably.
yeah. So somebody was saying, oh, yeah. And I'm being reminded about your T-shirt. Sometimes you got to get aggressive, bro.
Sometimes I gotta get a cup for that.
Dude, I'm gonna make sure I send you one of those shirts. I actually haven't sold one of those yet, but if I do,
I need my $5.
yeah, well, it's actually more like $3, but
That's okay. I want my $3.
$3
It can be
is $3,
50 cents.
right?
I want them. 50 cents will help the program.
so you didn't really go check out anything going on at the track outside of all the racing shit that was happening out there.
No, not really. I saw a little bit of dirt track one of the nights.
Okay.
And I normally go out to the Ave and roll around in the scooter, but this year I was maybe a little bit more focused on what I needed to get done. You know.
It's because you're all grown up.
That too.
Right?
I mean, years
Yeah.
get you tired of doing certain things. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I went Saturday night. You know those CFE guys?
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
no.
dude.
I love those dudes.
I love them too, man. And I actually met them in person for the first time this past weekend. And Saturday night after the 200, we went to kind of the ghetto, like a little bit away from the track, and to this honey wing spot. Like we legit waited in line for honey wing, like chicken wings.
Wow.
And but we, in the process of that, we were greeted to this epic Daytona show that was amazing. And it's something that you probably only experience in that side of the country, probably during bike week.
You experience a lot of weird stuff in bike week.
Dude, like I mean, crazy stereos and they like
a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I'm talking like a van that the back of the van tilted up at an angle, and there was speakers in that, and then speakers in the back of the van, and then the doors of the van, and
everywhere.
Yeah. So it's like that. Between that and the people across the street, they were having quite the sound off battle thing, and I mean, we couldn't even talk to each other. It was like, and TJ, you know TJ from KYT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So TJ was like, "This is awesome."
I bet he was enjoying that.
Oh man! So I mean, we walked like a half a block away just to get far enough away to where we could still see the show and actually talk to each other. And I mean, it was just, I don't know how many sets of 30-inch wheels that I mean, the front wheels on those things are ridiculous, right? So yeah, actually on our way there, we saw somebody wreck one. So that was kind of different.
That's funny.
A guy like I guess the wheel caught on something, and the guy hit a curb, and next thing you know, you see fiberglass shit flying everywhere, right? Plastic and the guy's phone, right? And they're not wearing helmets, which is
Nothing. They
totally
don't wear.
bizarre.
They don't care about nothing.
Oh man, it's like you're in Daytona when you're seeing people, the passenger and the rider both in ponytails and tank tops and flip flops or whatever. It's so strange.
Very strange.
Something I don't think I'll ever get used to. All right, so Be Real wants to know if you're going to come out to the Ridge this year and race.
Yeah, possibly. That's the plan.
Okay, yeah, you're planning on It sounds like you're planning on doing the whole thing then, right?
Yeah. And anyhow, SuperHooligans race at the Ridge, so I'll be there.
Cool. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe you'll pick up a superbike ride, and then you'll have the whole thing covered, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't. I mean, would you? I mean, you would actually do that, right?
I need to get paid to go ride it.
Just roll up the sleeves and
I need to get paid to go ride anything.
yeah. So, I asked this to Camp P. Did you do anything different to train to prepare for Daytona?
Not really. I just pretty much stay on a motorcycle as much as I can, Working with Yamaha helps a lot, doing the curriculum every school helps.
Yeah.
Playing little moments here and there of the school and just riding a motorcycle.
So you're doing you were saying that you were coaching a guy out at CMP today, right?
Yeah, I got some private coaching going on over here.
So how does that work? How does somebody contract you to do the one-on-one coaching stuff?
I just pretty much reach out to me, through like social media or wherever, and figure out a date and figure out how to get it done.
Wow. Okay. I mean, and then you're working with the Yamaha school quite a bit too now. I've seen that you were at a bunch of schools last year. I think was when it kind of started for you, right? Or no?
Yeah, it started 2 years ago, but last year's the first year I went to a lot of the schools, and then this year, one of their guys. So I've been going to a lot of them, and
Okay.
how I mentioned Sunday, I'm going to one in Indy. So
To
should
where?
be Indy.
Indy. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The Wilcox, Arizona, the major metropolis
yeah.
of Wilcox, Arizona.
So it should be fun. It's
Right
always
on.
fun working with the guys.
Yeah, I'm actually working for them at the end of the month, beginning of next month, at
Okay, but
Streets of Willow.
Streets of Willow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
It's always a good time. I mean, I worked with them a couple weeks ago. I still haven't submitted Keith my invoice yet.
You
Right?
better get that done.
Oh, I know, dude. I'm like, well, I'm kind of treating it like a savings account.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Make sure they know that.
I know.
I'm kidding.
I've
I
been
love
busy,
Keith.
man.
He's
Fuck.
a great guy. He's a great guy.
Oh, totally, totally. It's a good time working with those guys.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's see. I have some more questions here. Yeah. Irate Barry wants to know if you're going to race at Podium Club.
What's that?
It's that new track in Arizona.
So actually, the guy I'm coaching this weekend here at CMP. He's from your coast, and he's planning on buying I guess a membership there. I guess they're selling
Yeah,
memberships.
they sure are.
So he's planning on buying a membership there and kind of basing out of there. So I probably will see a lot of that track.
Cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. The CRA race program that I'm involved in, we have our round two there.
Nice.
At the end of next month. So
Very cool.
yeah, so it's a pretty different vibe from most club races because the lap count is longer. You experience it with us. Fancy trophies, Saturday night dinner, that kind of stuff. So qualifying for grid position,
Yeah.
it's amazing to me that this late in the game, qualifying for grid position is still not commonplace,
I agree.
right?
I agree, but I don't like to get into the government anymore.
What?
I don't like to get into the government anymore.
The government?
For me, that's a government. All associations have a little
Oh,
government.
God damn it. Here we You know what? I'll be straight with you. I'm
I'm
feeling
being
that vibe,
honest.
bro.
I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, dude, I feel politics is bullshit. I hate politics and racing. I just want to be real and have a good time, you know? And
I got
politics.
to the I got to Daytona this weekend and I saw Michael Martin, writer rep. I saw him and I was like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna go see you this weekend. I'm staying out of your office."
Oh,
Was the
wow.
first I think I said to him. It was funny.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that kind of stuff sucks a lot of the fun out of the sport, right? So, um,
Yeah, but it kind of has to be there. I mean,
it
sometimes
does.
it really does suck, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, but I totally feel you. I agree with you, even though I kind of am the government in a way,
I mean,
right?
let's be honest. Look what happened in the 200.
I mean, we talked about it last night. Stampoli and I talked
Yeah.
about, and Cam P too. I mean, Cam is like, he was getting a lot of hate in his direction, like he caused it, right?
I mean, for me, race control cost the whole situation. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Even Stampoli said that it would be different if he was running it, but he's not. So
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I'll stay out of it.
I mean, it's everybody talked about it. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have
I think
to.
everybody's still confused about it.
Are they?
I think so.
Are they confused about it, or are they just mad that it didn't go their way?
Both.
Yeah,
Both.
I guess. I mean, it's in the rule book. You know,
The rule book goes out the window.
does it?
Of course.
Well,
always.
yeah. When nobody reads it, nobody reads the rule
there
book.
you go.
Like, how dare you apply this rule that's in the rule book to something, right? I mean, Moto America, they've been around for a long time, and they have like the list of shit in case this happens.
Happens, yeah. The bulletins.
And Richard was saying last night that was in the rules last year, and he looked at it and he's like, that's never gonna happen.
I don't know. All I remember is last year's race ended in a 5-lap restart too.
Did it?
I think so.
I don't remember that.
I remember right.
I don't think so, man.
It wasn't a restart. I remember it was a restart.
Was there a restart?
How many laps, but it was a restart.
Maybe it wasn't 5 laps, but maybe. Yeah. I think there was a restart, but it wasn't like a. I don't remember there being like a 10-lap sprint. Because
I think it was shorter.
You think it was shorter?
Yeah.
It might have been, dude. That was a year ago, man. Nobody remembers that.
That is true. It's a long time
right?
ago.
But yeah, I mean, Richard was saying that he was saying that he looked at that in the rule book last year and was like, that's never gonna happen, and then it did this year. So, but yeah, I guess it was kind of the Daytona 215 or 217 or whatever, right?
217.2.
Right. I mean,
Crazy.
So I don't know. It's super crazy, and then obviously the Triumph team, their rider got a penalty that carried over into the restart.
Restart. Yeah.
I mean,
it was a new start.
Yeah, there is a lot of. It was good for us. Topics. It was good for our team, right?
I mean, you guys came up with the good end of it.
I mean, he still didn't win, right? But he had a shot to.
Still,
he had a shot to. Yeah.
I mean, he was 3 laps down, 2 laps down, a lap down, 1 lap down.
Yeah, supposedly he was a lap down, even though technically he kind of did unlap himself before the red flag.
That's the thing, and he did. And they were even talking about it on the TV,
Yeah.
And then boom, it did happen, He was like, "Oh, it could happen," but he never did it, and it happened,
Yeah. So let's see. I'm being asked I'm reading a few questions. Oh, Knutson says, is there anyone turning as many laps as Stefano? Well, there's only one guy at Daytona that probably would fit that description, and that would be Hayden Gillum.
Yeah, he spent more laps than me at Daytona.
Dude, that dude did the bagger race immediately after doing the 200.
Yeah. And did he finish on the podium?
I think so, dude. And he's a big dude. Like,
I can I can't believe he was going that fast on a 600 still.
Dude,
He's a
well,
very
750.
big dude.
750. I
New
mean,
gens.
yeah, 750, bro.
I'm still
Uh,
on old. I'm still on an old gen, so it's all right.
yeah, well, yours is 636 though, right?
Yeah,
Well, then there you go, dude. You're not a 600 either, cheater.
it's all right. I have a stock overboard, all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Brian Green's telling me to tell you about my two-up ride. I don't know what two-up ride that is. I do a lot of them. Oh, maybe he's talking about the blind guy that I did two-up ride with like a week ago or 2 weeks ago now.
Oh, you told me about this at
Yeah,
Daytona.
yeah, bro. I gave a guy a blind
That's
dude.
crazy.
It was a little weird. I mean, do you do two-up rides at school or no?
A few.
Yeah. So I do like 200 of those things a year, and somebody called me up and asked me to do one for a blind guy, or asked me if I would. And I was like, why not? Uh, it was difficult for me because the dude obviously can't see where he's going to look over the right shoulder, you know.
I mean, yeah. You
So
don't even know where we're going.
yeah, so I just adjusted the pace accordingly, and the dude had a big ear to ear grin after. So it's pretty cool to
That's
show
awesome.
that. And I guess he scratched that off his bucket list because
Of course, I bet.
the dude. I guess previous to that had gone skydiving and like parasailing or something. So he's kind of like one of those adrenaline junkie blind dudes.
Uh huh.
And yeah, so he looked like he had a good time.
Very cool.
Yeah. Um, I don't think he learned anything, obviously, because he doesn't ride, and
You never
whatever.
know. Those guys got skills.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so let's see. Any advice, Abram? Any advice or tips on a guy that's been riding an '05 Gixxer 1000 with zero electronics that's jumping on a 2022 with all the electronics?
Take it easy, buddy. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean,
a whole different beast.
and also, I mean, if you came from the old school style, I mean, it'll take a while to trust the electronics, right? I mean, they
Yep.
work, but right? Because you came from old school too, so I
Yeah, I,
mean,
I I spend a little bit of laps in the old school stuff, but yeah, trusting your electronics is the main key. That's like key to go fast. Trusting what's gonna back you up.
right. But you like, so you're advising him to kind of like creep into it and not just
Oh,
full send.
definitely creep into it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then thank you, John Righty, for saying that CRA races are the best. Team Kettleson loves them. He's that dude that hangs out and basically uh, helps pit with the Brendan Kettleson and those guys.
Cool.
So, and then Bearded Gixxer says, President Coiner, make club racing great again. I guess I'll have to make that a T-shirt now. Like, I don't know. I usually try to make T-shirts out of the shit the podcast guests say, not the podcast commenters. But maybe I'll make an exception for that one. Make club racing great again. It's kind of wore out, that make that great again thing, right?
Kinda is.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Jonathan Tiller says he believes it's the 2019 Daytona when Kyle Wyman got the win off the restart, and it was a short.
Okay.
Remember that? It was like you were saying, it was like a six
I remember
lapper,
it
or
was
five laps or something.
a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty gnarly. A lot of people were upset about that one, but that one was not Moto America. That one was those other guys,
CCS,
CCS
right?
or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
Astra.
Astra. There you go. It was Astra, right? That's kind of CCS, right? Or
Yeah, it's the same thing.
okay, yeah. So, and then let's see. Oh, Irate Barry, would you ever consider coming to Utah for a club race?
Definitely.
Barry's in Utah, so
I'm up to ride everywhere.
so there you go, Barry. Make a phone call to Stefano, offering him a bike and a lot of cash or a bag of money. We'll call it a bag of money. Yeah, a bag of money and a bike, and he'll be there at the next round, or maybe whatever round fits in his schedule.
There you go.
right? Okay.
Yep.
So you didn't do anything different to prepare for the thing, and obviously you weren't knowing that you were going to ride Melissa's bike until you got there, so you didn't have to do anything extra for that. Is there anything mentally preparedness that you do to accommodate the two weird different bikes?
No, not really. I just try and go out there and just concentrate on which bike I'm in, and what I need to do.
Where am I and what am I doing?
Exactly.
Wow, it's like I've almost heard that before somewhere. Where have I heard that
Maybe the
before?
school.
Maybe the Yamaha school, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's it like coaching at the school? Like, do you get the advanced people, or what? Or do you working with
They
noobs,
they
or?
always switches around. Normally they do put me with the fast group, right? We normally do a pretty good job of splitting everybody into pace they're comfortable on,
Yeah.
and normally they put us around. They wherever they need us, they just move us there. So
Okay. And then let's see. Wow. Let's see. Adam Oranchek. He says he came in a little late, but you did talk. Did we talk about the MP13 experience? Yes. Yes, we did talk about MP13 quite a bit, actually. You might have to hit the rewind button, buddy. This podcast shirt should be what? Abram says there should be a podcast shirt. I don't know what it should be, so hopefully he'll comment and tell me what it should be then. Um, is Stefano live from the metropolis of Roebling Road? I don't think so, man.
I'm at CMP close, a few hours from there.
Okay, okay.
Close.
And then, oh, okay, Abram, good on you, man. I guess there might be a new Stefano shirt in the works after all. And it says, "I make all bike work. I make all bikes work, electric or gas." Right?
Once the EV is a little bit bigger into the whole situation.
Yeah. I mean the electric bikes. It's quite a bit different. I mean it. I mean the one I saw at the races last year at Laguna with us, and then also at the end of the year that you rode with us. That you actually rode a couple of different bikes that weekend, but the naked ones, that's an unusual looking bike, man. Like, I mean, it totally fits the bill for super hooligan type stuff, but it's not like your typical sport bike, right?
No, it's completely different. It's a naked bike. That's how it comes from the factory, and that's the whole super hooligan thing. You got to have handlebars. So
Upright bars, yep. That's like the key thing in the rule book, right? Like upright bars.
yep.
And then there's like a horsepower thing, right?
I haven't really. I just ride the bikes.
Yeah, you just get on the thing and ride it. You don't do government stuff.
Nah,
Man, I
none of
wish I
it.
could do that. You don't do government. That's awesome. Okay. um, let's see. Have you ever raced overseas? Well, I mean, what do you mean by overseas? Because he goes to down south to race, right?
That's not overseas.
Yeah, that's not overseas, but you haven't gone down further into.
I've gone overseas a few times, but
Yeah,
yeah.
to race.
I did a World Super Sport when I was very young,
Where
and
at?
then I did Imola,
Okay.
and then I did a Ducati club race in the Netherlands in Assen.
Okay. That's pretty cool. What
Yeah, it was
track?
definitely fun.
I know that you said that Road America is your favorite track, right?
Yeah,
So, what track are you most looking forward to race this year?
definitely Road America,
Yeah,
especially with the new pavement. So
yeah,
should be fun.
and I guess you're planning on doing the is Hooligans racing that weekend too, or no?
No,
Oh, okay. So you're gonna be there on the 600 and maybe a
on
twin.
something.
Okay. I mean, that's the weekend you bring your 1,000.
something. We'll
right?
see.
So
We'll see what shows up.
right on. So I guess what you're riding at champ school next, and then what?
I have 3 days of private coaching here at CMP, and then I fly to champ school.
Okay. And then after that, like, what's your next race?
I have here at CMP with CCS in like 2 weeks,
Okay.
and then Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta's round 1, right?
Yep.
Right on, man. Well, Stefano, I know it's late for you, and I think we should just wrap this thing up, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
And
Man. Thanks for
again,
having me.
if you want to support the MP13 program and put Stefano on an R7, definitely hit up MP13 Racing. Melissa Paris would appreciate some help getting some
Yes, you
crew
will.
together, and so she could put Mighty Mouse on the second bike, and hopefully, help Kayla. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing Kayla race. Right, you too, or
Yeah, it should be good to see her race with
yeah,
with all the other boys.
yeah. It
See
was a
what she can do.
bummer. It was a bummer she had to miss the first round. Hopefully, she'll be back at the second round, but. Having two riders at that caliber on that team, that might make Melissa's team like a powerhouse in that class. Like Rovum, what? Right? Yeah, I said
Hopefully,
it. I
we'll
said
see
it.
what goes
What?
happening.
And I said it knowing that the photographer for our race team kind of owns, for Attack Yamaha owns that team, right? So
Yeah, Sarah.
yeah. So, all right. So let's see. On a superbike, yeah, you need the new pavement would be epic on a superbike. People are saying. Oh, how about another T-shirt? I don't do government shit.
That's a good one.
I think I might do that one, man.
That one's a good one.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, good chatting with you. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna let you get back to doing whatever you're doing, private coaching and all that. And I'll catch you after Road Atlanta.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah,
very
man.
much, Dustin.
Yeah, let's keep the juice going.
Yes, sir.
All
Have a
right,
good
buddy.
night.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too.